Okay, so hopefully this goes smoothly. There's a few things that you should know. You definitely want a mouse or a trackball of some sort because when you do a right click, it selects things versus if you use sorry, the other way around. A left click allows you to highlight things, whereas a right click lets you move things around. Your center click lets you zoom in and out, but it also allows you to pan back and forth. And so all of that working together, you need the 3-button mouse to really make this project work. So the first thing I'm going to do is sketch. So I'm going to hit sketch and I want to click on this top right there that I can make a sketch. And I'm going to go to a top view. So I'm looking straight on down from it. There's a few different rectangles you can make. The one I want is a center point rectangle. So I'm going to start here at the origin and I'm going to work my way out. Automatically, this line is parallel to this line, the top and bottom, depending on how you're looking at it. The left and the right are parallel, so that is a rectangle, but I want to make this rectangle a square. And so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to dimension it, and I'm going to click on this little bar and bring it up. I'd like that, make that 2 inches. Now, at this point, I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to do that side 2 inches as well. Now I don't need to do the opposite sides because they're automatically 2 inches if that's a rectangle. Now if you're in centimeters, what you need to do is click on this little hamburger, those 3 little lines right there, and you'll go into workspace units, and I have them in imperial units. I've got them in inches right now. But that 2 by 2 square centered at the origin, I'm good to go, so I'm going to finish up that sketch. Now the next thing, once I finish that sketch, is I want to make this 3-dimensional, and so I'm going to use the extrude feature. So that would have been, if I hovered for a split second, Shift E. Shift E would have been extrude, and I want to extrude that 2 inches, and then I'm going to click this little green check, and you're like, but that didn't do anything. But if I hold down the right click and rotate, I can see that I now have a cube that's 2 inches on each side. So I drew a 2-inch square in a sketch, and then I extruded it 2 inches so that I can see all of that. Now on any one of these sides, it doesn't matter which one, we're going to create a new sketch. So I'm going to do a right click, new sketch, and then I'm going to zoom in on the front. In this one, let's go with the square. And so I'm going to put a square in the middle here. And it just, when I go to do this one, it doesn't matter which rectangle I use, which rectangle tool I use. I just don't want it to touch any of the edges. If it touches an edge, it automatically constrains it to be attached to that edge, and that would be horrible. At this point, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to constrain it from this edge to this edge. I'm going to dimension that to be 0.5 or half an inch. You could type 1/2, it'll totally do it. And then let's say from the bottom part to the bottom, again, 0.5 or half an inch. And then I'm going to zoom in using my scroll wheel. I want that to be 1 inch. And I want that to be 1 inch. And I have just made a 1-inch square that is half an inch from each side. I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to go to extrude again, and this time I don't want to extrude at 1. I can do 1/2 or 0.5, and I want to make sure it's an add, not a remove, an add. And I click that. And so what am I looking at right now is I have a half-inch square sticking off the side of that. Now any side that is adjacent to that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do again a right click. Oops, I'm going to click the green check mark so that I finish that extrusion. I'm going to click right here. New sketch. This side, I'm going to put a circle on it. And so there's a couple different circles, center point, that's fine. I'm going to click on the circle and I'm going to draw a circle. See, like right there, it's going to center it right above that midpoint, and that's fine. I go to dimension, and I'm going to go into the middle here, and I want it to be a 1-inch circle, and I want it to be a half an inch from the side, so 0.5 or 1/2. And then from the top or bottom does not matter. 0.5 already. I just hit enter, we're good to go. And so at this point, I'm gonna finish that sketch. I'm gonna hit extrude again, and I wanna extrude it a 1/2 inch. Now, and then when I hit the green check mark, I have my circle peg and my square peg. Now, going to the top here, I'm gonna go up here, this one right here. There's a couple different ways I can make a hole into this. So I can come in here and really the first thing I want to do is create another sketch. So I'm going to hit new sketch, and there's lots of ways to find the center of this. One, it's already marked, and so I could use that. If I didn't know that, I could use the line tool and do diagonals. And if I do a diagonal there and I do a diagonal here, where they intersect is going to be the center of a circle. So the first one I'm going to try to show is the hole tool. And so escape. I've got that drawn. I'm going to finish that sketch so that I know that the center is there. There's a hole tool right here. Now I can just click right here on the center. Oops. Inch through sketch points to place holes. Yes, that's what I want. When it first starts up, it's like a 1/4 inch. It's like way down here. It's like, I don't know. It's something like this. And yeah, so there's lots of different ways to do this. If you're using the hole tool, the cool thing about it is that you could do drilled, clearance, tapped, PM. I don't know what some of this is. I'm going to go with drill. Oh, tapped would be it's threaded, and you can pick the thread size, and you can do all sorts of different stuff. Like, I think this is where it starts out. By default, it's at a blind. There's all sorts of different settings. So if you're using the hole tool, this is where you would go to do it. But for some reason, it's not letting me. So I'm going to cancel out of this. Normally, what I have to do is I have to go into that sketch 4. I'm going to edit that sketch. And I'm going to make a circle right here. I'm going to go center point of a circle. And again, I want it to be a 1-inch dimension. So you can just hit D. The letter D for dimension is a shortcut key. 1, enter. And so that centered it. That's absolutely centered it. Now, if I finish that sketch and go back to the hole tool, when I click here, there it goes. And so right now, let's say I did tapped, and it gives me my threads. And so like if I were to orbit this, well, that's not a very fancy hole. It doesn't go all through very far. And so it doesn't show it as well as it should. But I could use the hole tool and do a 1 inch. So scroll, scroll, scroll. Here we go. Where's my 1? 1 inch through all. And if I look really closely, you can see that it's threaded. And so the hole tool allows you to thread the hole. The other way to do that, if I didn't want to thread that hole, I can come in here and I can do an extrude, but an extrude cut. And so I click on the extrude, and then this time I've got to click all 4 of these little parts, but I'm not wanting to add, I'm wanting to hit remove. And then depth of 2 inches. And when I do that, it has just, oops, somehow I cut everything. Control Z, or I just ignore that. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to hit extrude. I want to extrude this, 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 and that. But I want to do a remove, and I want to do 2 inches, no offsets. And if I do that and I hit the green check, it cut a hole all the way through. So what's the difference between an extrude remove and the hole feature? The hole feature lets me put threads and stuff like that. There's a lot more features. I can taper the hole, whereas an extrude cut or extrude remove just removes all of the information from that spot. At this point, I'm done. Whether you went with the hole or the extrude remove, both of them are going to end up looking the same. But see all this extra stuff? I want to get rid of that. And so I'm going to come in here. The first thing I'm going to do is click that little eyeball for the origin. I'm going to click it for top. I'm going to click it for front. And I'm just hiding them. And so at this point, I've got my cube. it's all set and done. But there are two different ways to cut holes in things. One is to use that hole tool, and the other is just to do an extrude remove. And so either way, whichever one you want to do there. If you hover over everything, you can see the different shortcut keys. That's one of the questions on the worksheet. And so you just hover over stuff, and anything that says anything that says there's a shortcut key, like right here, Shift W for revolve. There's Shift E for extrude, or in your sketch, when you're doing sketches, there's also a bunch. And so just kind of hover over everything and see what the buttons do. And I'll see you in the next video.